Sarah Chen had spent 3 years mapping the underground caverns of Mars, but she'd never seen anything like this. The signal her equipment detected wasn't the usual metallic ping of ore deposits or the hollow echo of underground chambers. This was different, a rhythmic pulse that made her handheld scanner chirp like an anxious bird. "Control, are you getting these readings?" She spoke into her comm, adjusting her environment suit's filters against the fine red dust that seemed to get everywhere, even 300 meters below the surface. "Affirmative, Chen, but we're having trouble making sense of them. Energy signature doesn't match anything in our database." Controller Martinez's voice crackled through her helmet speakers. "Maybe some kind of natural geothermal activity." Sarah shook her head, though no one could see it. "Negative. Too regular. Too artificial." She swept her helmet lights across the cavern walls, noting how the natural rock formations gave way to something else. Surfaces too smooth to be natural, angles too precise to be accidents of geology. "I'm seeing architecture down here. Someone, or something, built this." The mining colony of New Ares had been established on Mars 5 years ago, primarily to extract rare earth elements crucial for Earth's growing quantum computing industry. They'd found plenty of valuable minerals, but nothing like this, nothing that suggested intelligent design. As Sarah moved deeper into the chamber, her boots left prints in dust that might have lain undisturbed for millennia. The air pressure in her suit automatically adjusted as she descended, but she could feel something else, a vibration, so subtle it might have been her imagination. Then she saw it. Rising from the cavern floor like some bizarre metallic flower was a structure that defied easy description. Crystalline spires twisted upward, connected by bridges of what looked like flowing light. At its center, a column of shifting energy pulsed with the same rhythm her scanner had detected. "Control, are you seeing this?" She activated her suit's external cameras, knowing the feed would be reaching the operations center back at the colony. "Holy!" Martinez's voice trailed off. "Chen, hold position. We're calling in the Xenorch team." But Sarah barely heard him, because something else had caught her attention, a pattern in the energy column. It was changing, shifting from its steady pulse to something more complex, almost like, "Help, please." The words weren't spoken. They weren't even really words, but somehow they formed in her mind with crystal clarity. "Control," she said, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "I think we need to revise our assessment. This isn't just an alien structure." "Yes. Trapped. So long. Help. I think someone's home." Sarah approached the central column carefully, her training warring with her curiosity. The entity within the energy field became clearer, a crystalline form that seemed to both absorb and emit light. Its structure reminiscent of complex geometric patterns she'd seen in advanced mathematics textbooks. "Human, different from the others. Please. Running out of time." "I can hear you," Sarah said aloud, uncertain if speech was necessary, but feeling compelled to respond. "What are you? How long have you been here?" The crystalline entity's light patterns shifted, creating what Sarah somehow knew was the equivalent of a weary sigh. Was researcher, studying quantum boundaries. Accident, containment failed. Merged with system. Cannot. Separate." Sarah's mind raced. The entity wasn't just trapped in the machine. It had become part of it. And something was wrong. The steady pulse she detected earlier was becoming erratic. "Control," she called up. "I need Dr. Patel from Quantum Systems down here. Now." "Chen, we haven't cleared." "That's an order, Martinez. We got a living being trapped in some kind of quantum containment system, and it's failing. If we don't act fast, we might lose both our first contact and whatever knowledge this facility holds." As she waited for backup to arrive, Sarah studied the control interfaces scattered around the chamber. They were unlike anything she'd seen. Panels that responded to thought as much as touch, displays that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. "Careful," System delicate, designed for my kind. Your kind. You're a quantum being. Sarah asked, pieces falling into place. Your natural state exists in quantum superposition. Yes, but containment. Forcing single state. Painful. Degrading. Need. Freedom. But dangerous. Release could. Harm. Sarah understood the implications. If this entity existed naturally in a quantum state, forcing it into classical physics would be like forcing the human to exist in only 2 dimensions. But simply releasing it could have catastrophic consequences. She needed to think like an engineer. The entity had merged with the containment system. That meant the system itself might hold the key to safely separating them. But first, she needed to understand exactly what she was dealing with. I'm going to help you, she said firmly. But I need you to tell me everything you can about this facility and what happened to you. And we need to work fast. The entity's light patterns brightened slightly. Hope, Sarah somehow knew. Yes, together. But hurry. System failing. When it fails, explosion. Quantum cascade. Colony in danger. Sarah felt her blood run cold. They weren't just racing to save one alien life. They were racing to prevent a disaster that could wipe out every human settlement on Mars. Control, she said, her voice tight. Update that priority request and begin evacuation procedures for non-essential personnel. We've got a potential quantum event brewing. As she waited for her team to arrive, Sarah began documenting everything she could about the facility. She had a feeling the next few hours would test everything she knew about engineering, physics, and what it meant to be human. The entity's light pulsed weakly in the container. Thank you. For stopping. For listening. Others passed by. Ignored signals. Well, Sarah said, managing a small smile behind her faceplate. Humans have a hard time ignoring someone asking for help. It's one of our better qualities. The work ahead would be challenging, possibly impossible. But as Sarah began taking preliminary readings of the containment system, she felt a familiar determination settling over her. This was what humans did best, facing the impossible and finding a way through. She just hoped they had enough time. Dr. Patil arrived in the chamber like a whirlwind of focused energy, his equipment cases floating behind him on magnetic dollies. He took one look at the crystalline entity in its failing containment field and let out a low whistle. Chen, when you call for backup, you don't mess around. He began unpacking quantum scanning equipment, his movements precise despite the urgency. Have you established consistent communication? Sarah nodded, keeping one eye on the increasingly erratic energy readings. It communicates through some kind of direct quantum interface. Thoughts, impressions. The containment system is forcing it to maintain a fixed quantum state, and that's killing it. Pain increasing. System degrading faster. The entity's thought voice was weaker now, its light patterns flickering. Collision of states. Approaching critical. Patil's fingers flew over his equipment's controls. Fascinating. It exists naturally in quantum superposition, multiple states simultaneously. The containment field is like forcing water to stay frozen. Eventually, something has to give. And when it does, Sarah asked, though she suspected she knew the answer. Quantum cascade failure. Every quantum particle in a 50-kilometer radius could be affected. The colony. He didn't need to finish the thought. Sarah turned to the alien control interfaces, her mind racing. Can we modify the containment field? Gradually allow it to return to a natural state while containing any cascade effects. Tried. Many times. System. Too integrated. Separation causes cascade. Patil cursed softly as his readings confirmed the entity's warning. It's not just trapped in the containment field. It's become quantumly entangled with it. Try to separate them, and everything goes quantum critical. Sarah finished. She paced the chamber, her boots leaving fresh tracks in the ancient dust. There has to be a way. We're missing something. She stopped suddenly, staring at her own footprints. Wait, we're thinking about this wrong. We can't separate them because we're trying to force classical physics onto a quantum system. But what if we work with quantum mechanics instead of against them? What are you thinking? Patel looked up from his equipment. Sarah moved to one of the alien interfaces, her hands hovering over its surface. Instead of trying to extract the entity from the system, what if we temporarily extend the quantum field? Create a quantum bubble that allows for controlled superposition. Yes, possible, but dangerous. Requires precise control. Human technology. Compatible. It'll have to be. Sarah turned to Patel. Remember that quantum field modulator you've been working on? The one for stabilizing quantum computers in high radiation environments. Patel's eyes widened. It's still experimental. We've never tested it on anything this scale. No time like the present. Sarah was already calling up to control. Martinez, we need the QFM prototype from Dr. Patel's lab. And get me Chief Wong from engineering. We're going to need to modify it. Fast. The next 2 hours were a blur of calculations, modifications, and careful tests. Wong arrived with a team of engineers, and soon the chamber looked like a bizarre hybrid of human and alien technology. The QFM, normally the size of a briefcase, had been expanded and integrated with the alien containment system. Time. Running out. Field stability at 12%. Sarah wiped sweat from her forehead, grateful for her suit's cooling system. Almost there. Dr. Patel. Field modifications are ready. But Chen, he hesitated. Someone needs to manually synchronize the systems. The timing has to be perfect, and the alien interface requires direct contact. I'll do it. Sarah was already moving toward the central column. Chen, wait. Patel grabbed her arm. The quantum field exposure. We don't know what it'll do to a human mind. Sarah gently pulled free. No choice. We're out of time. And I'm the only one who's established communication with it. She managed a tight smile. Besides, making first contact with an alien quantum being while trying to prevent a massive explosion. This is what humans do best. She approached the central column, placing her hands on the alien interface. The entity's light patterns swirled around her. Dangerous. Your mind. Not designed for quantum states. Neither was yours designed for classical physics, Sarah replied. Yet here we are. Ready? Ready. And thank you. Sarah nodded to Patel. Start the sequence. The QFM hummed to life, its field interacting with the alien containment system. Sarah felt a strange sensation, as if her thoughts were spreading out, existing in multiple states at once. It was beautiful and terrifying. Through the quantum connection, she could feel the entity more clearly now, its vast knowledge, its fear, its hope. Together, they began the delicate process of extending the quantum field, creating a space where classical and quantum physics could coexist long enough for separation. Time seemed to lose meaning. Sarah existed in multiple states, her consciousness stretched across quantum possibilities. She saw paths where they failed, where they succeeded, where reality itself twisted in unexpected ways. Through it all, she held on to her purpose, her human determination providing an anchor in the quantum storm. Now, the entity's thought came with crystal clarity. Quantum field stable. Begin separation. Sarah felt reality snap back into focus as Patel initiated the final sequence. The containment field shimmered, shifted, and then a burst of light filled the chamber. When it faded, the central column was empty. But floating above it was a crystalline form of pure energy, its patterns more complex and beautiful than anything their instruments could record. Free, whole again. You did it. The entity's thoughts were clear now, unburdened by pain. Humans, remarkable. So linear, yet so adaptable. Sarah swayed, suddenly exhausted. Patel and Wong caught her before she could fall. The colony? She managed to ask. Safe, Patel confirmed. Quantum readings all normal. Whatever you two did, it worked. The entity descended, its light patterns creating complex geometric shapes in the air. Your people have earned more than thanks. Knowledge. I offer knowledge. This facility holds secrets, quantum technology beyond your current understanding. Together, we could learn much. Sarah smiled, her mind still buzzing with quantum echoes that she suspected would never fully fade. I think that could be arranged. Though maybe we could start with something simple, like your name. The entity's light shifted in what she now recognized as amusement. Names. Difficult concept in quantum existence, but you may call me Aurora. It seems appropriate. Welcome to Mars, Aurora, Sarah said. I think this is the beginning of a very interesting partnership. Above them, the ancient facility hummed with new life, its secrets waiting to be uncovered by this unexpected alliance of classical and quantum beings. And Sarah Chen, still slightly dizzy from her brush with quantum existence, couldn't help but smile. Another impossible problem solved by human determination and the willingness to reach across the boundaries of space, time, and reality itself to help someone in need. 2 weeks after the rescue, the Mars Research Complex buzzed with unprecedented activity. Sarah sat in the newly established quantum communications lab, watching Aurora's crystalline form dance through specialized containment fields, this time designed to support rather than restrict the quantum being's natural state. So your civilization exists across multiple quantum states simultaneously? Sarah asked, making notes on her tablet as Aurora's patterns shifted in response. Yes, no, perhaps. The quantum being's thoughts came easier now, though they still carried that strange multiplicity that Sarah's human mind struggled to fully grasp. We exist in probability clouds. What you perceive as my single form is merely the intersection of countless possible states with your reality. Dr. Patel, who had barely left the lab since the rescue, looked up from his instruments. Fascinating. Your entire civilization could be here and not here simultaneously, operating on principles that make our binary computing look like stone tools. Your metaphor is apt, inaccurate, meaningful. Aurora's form sparkled with what Sarah had come to recognize as amusement. But you underestimate your own potential. Your quantum accident. Aurora hesitated, patterns swirling in complex geometries. Sarah touched her temple, where occasional quantum echoes still rippled through her consciousness. A souvenir from the rescue operation. You mean my exposure to the quantum field during the separation? Sarah asked. The doctors said there were no lasting effects. No lasting classical effects, Aurora corrected. But your mind, it resonates differently now. You've begun to perceive quantum possibilities, the first human to bridge the gap. The implications hit Sarah like a physical force. Are you saying I'm becoming like you? No, yes, partially. You remain human, but changed, enhanced. Your accident may have opened a door others could follow through, safely this time. Dr. Patil nearly dropped his tablet. You're talking about intentionally expanding human consciousness into quantum states. The scientific implications alone could revolutionize everything from computing to space travel. Sarah finished, her mind racing with possibilities. But the risks are significant. Aurora's patterns turned serious, which is why I must share something urgent. My presence here is not accidental. The temperature in the lab seemed to drop several degrees. What do you mean? Sarah asked, though part of her already knew the answer. My civilization detected your species' first quantum experiments. Crude but promising. We knew you would eventually bridge the gap between classical and quantum existence, but some believe humans were too volatile, too dangerous to be allowed to develop quantum consciousness. And you? Sarah's voice was barely a whisper. I argued for contact, for guidance. The accident with the containment system was real, but my presence here was chosen. A test of sorts. Dr. Patel stepped forward. A test we passed. Beyond all expectations, Aurora's form expanded, filling the lab with complex light patterns. Where others saw only danger, you showed compassion. Where they feared chaos, you demonstrated adaptation. You didn't just save me. You innovated solutions that my own people hadn't considered. Sarah felt a mix of emotions, awe, betrayal, understanding, hope. So what happens now? Now, Aurora's patterns shifted into something new, something that made Sarah's quantum-touched consciousness sing with recognition. Now we prepare. My people are coming, not to stop you, but to guide you. Humanity stands on the brink of a transformation that will change your understanding of reality itself. The lab erupted into activity as sensors began detecting new quantum signatures appearing throughout the solar system. Dr. Patel rushed to his instruments, calling out readings that would have seemed impossible just weeks ago. Sarah stood quietly, watching as reality itself seemed to shimmer around them. Her quantum-enhanced perception could almost see it. The overlapping possibilities, the countless quantum states that had always existed alongside their classical reality. Are you afraid? Aurora asked privately, their quantum connection allowing for discrete communication. Sarah smiled, feeling the weight of the moment but also the thrill of discovery that made humans who they were. Terrified, excited, determined. Probably a quantum superposition of all three. You're learning. Aurora's amusement was clear. Your species has a saying, knowledge is power. We have another one. Sarah replied, with great power comes great responsibility. Precisely why you were chosen. Your capacity for moral advancement matches your technological potential. Together, we will ensure humanity's quantum awakening benefits all states of existence. Outside the lab, alarms began to sound as more quantum signatures appeared. Earth's quantum detection systems would be lighting up now too. Humanity's first official first contact was about to begin, and it would reshape their understanding of reality itself. Sarah touched her temple again, feeling the quantum possibilities unfold before her. They had saved Aurora from the machine, but in doing so, they had done something far more significant. They had proven humanity's readiness to step into a larger, stranger, more beautiful universe than they had ever imagined. Well, she said, straightening her shoulders, let's not keep your people waiting. We got a lot of work to do. Aurora's form brightened. Indeed, the quantum revolution begins now, and humanity, as you've shown, will be at its heart. The Mars Research Complex had transformed in the months since the quantum beings arrived. Crystalline structures now intertwined with human architecture, creating spaces that existed simultaneously in classical and quantum states. Sarah walked through these hybrid corridors, her enhanced perception allowing her to see the beautiful complexity of realities overlapping like waves on a cosmic shore. The integration protocols are exceeding expectations, Dr. Patel reported, falling into step beside her. His own quantum enhancement was more recent, carefully controlled using the protocols developed from Sarah's accidental exposure. 30% of volunteers have successfully achieved stable quantum consciousness, and the other 70%. Sarah asked, though she could almost see the answer in the quantum probability clouds that surrounded them. Still adapting, but no rejections, no failures. The quantum being's guidance has been invaluable. They entered the central chamber, now dubbed the Convergence Hub. Aurora floated at its center, surrounded by several other quantum beings whose forms shifted through colors humans had no names for. Scientists and engineers from Earth's leading institutions worked alongside them, their minds gradually opening to new ways of perceiving reality. Sarah, friend, Aurora's greeting resonated through multiple states of existence. We have made a discovery that requires your unique perspective. The other quantum beings parted, revealing a holographic display that existed in both classical and quantum space. Sarah's enhanced perception allowed her to see both aspects simultaneously, a skill that still gave her occasional headaches, but proved invaluable in bridging the two forms of existence. "What am I looking at?" she asked, though part of her mind was already unraveling the complex patterns. "Quantum filaments," one of the other beings, Lyra, explained. "Natural connections between quantum states throughout the universe. Your people would call them wormholes, but they're far more complex." Dr. Patel leaned forward, his eyes wide. "Are you saying we could use these for transportation? Communication? More?" Aurora's form pulsed with excitement. These filaments connect not just space, but states of existence. With proper understanding, they could revolutionize everything from energy production to computing to medicine. But there's a catch, Sarah said, reading the concern in Aurora's quantum patterns. These filaments are unstable. Correct. They require a unique form of stabilization, one that combines quantum and classical principles, something only your hybrid consciousness can fully comprehend. The implications hit Sarah like a wave. Humanity's accident-born quantum adaptation wasn't just a curiosity. It was the key to unlocking the universe's deeper structure. Their unique position between classical and quantum existence made them ideal bridges between these fundamental aspects of reality. We'll need to establish a new research division, she said, her mind already racing with possibilities. Combine the best of both our approaches. Dr. Patel, can you? The chamber sensors suddenly blazed to life. New quantum signatures were appearing throughout the solar system, but these were different from the peaceful arrivals of the past month. These patterns spoke of chaos, of discord. They've come. Aurora's thoughts carried a note of sadness. The opposition. Opposition? Dr. Patel asked, but Sarah already understood. The ones who wanted to prevent humanity from developing quantum consciousness. They're here to stop what we've started. The quantum beings' forms shifted into defensive patterns Sarah had never seen before. Yes, they believe the risk of unrestricted quantum evolution is too great. They would rather sever humanity's quantum development than risk the potential consequences. Sarah squared her shoulders, feeling the weight of two forms of existence pressing against her consciousness. They can try, but humanity didn't get where we are by backing down from challenges. You don't understand, Lyra warned. They possess weapons that can permanently sever quantum connections. They could rob you of everything you've gained. No, Sarah said firmly. They don't understand. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our quantum adaptation. It's our determination to protect what matters. Our ability to face impossible odds and find a way through. She turned to Dr. Patel. Get every enhanced human we have. We're going to need to innovate faster than ever before. You would risk everything? Aurora asked, though their patterns suggested they already knew the answer. That's what humans do, Sarah replied, watching as more hostile quantum signatures appeared on their sensors. We take risks, we face challenges, and we protect our friends, in this reality and every other. The chamber hummed with energy as both humans and friendly quantum beings prepared for what was coming. They had less than an hour before the opposition arrived, but Sarah felt a familiar determination settling over her. The same feeling she'd had when she first heard Aurora's call for help in that ancient facility. Besides, she added, a slight smile playing at her lips, they clearly don't know what they're dealing with. They think quantum consciousness is our only advantage. She gestured to the humans and quantum beings working together, already developing new defensive strategies. They're about to learn what humanity's really capable of when we put our minds to something. Aurora's form brightened. Perhaps this confrontation was inevitable, a final test of humanity's readiness. Then let's make sure we pass with flying colors, Sarah said, turning to face the approaching storm. In every possible quantum state, the opposition arrived in a cascade of discordant quantum signatures that made reality itself shudder. Sarah stood at the Convergence Hub's central interface, her enhanced consciousness processing both classical and quantum data streams as hostile forces surrounded the Mars complex. Submit, the opposition's first communication reverberated through quantum space. Relinquish your quantum evolution. Return to your classical existence. Sarah exchanged glances with Dr. Patel, who nodded. They had prepared for this. This is Sarah Chen of Earth. We decline. Our evolution cannot be reversed, nor would we want it to be. Then you leave us no choice. The opposition's quantum patterns shifted into aggressive configurations. We will sever your quantum connections forcibly. What happened next demonstrated why the opposition had so gravely miscalculated their understanding of humanity. As quantum-severing weapons powered up, the Mars complex revealed its true nature, not just a research facility, but humanity's first line of defense. Now, Sarah commanded. Dozens of enhanced humans activated the technology they developed in secret during the past month. Classical electronics merged with quantum systems in ways neither species had imagined possible. The human ability to innovate, to see connections others missed, had led to breakthrough after breakthrough. Dr. Patel's voice rang out across all frequencies. Quantum shield grid active. Phase shift protocols engaged. The opposition's first attack splashed harmlessly against defenses that existed in multiple states simultaneously. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. You assumed we'd try to fight quantum with quantum. But that's not how humans work. We adapt. We combine. We find new ways. Impossible. The opposition's thoughts carried genuine surprise. These defenses, they operate on principles we've never seen. Because you never considered what would happen when human ingenuity met quantum physics, Sarah replied. We didn't just learn to exist in quantum states. We learned to bridge them with our classical existence, creating something entirely new. Aurora and the friendly quantum beings moved into position, their forms interweaving with the human defense systems. We tried to tell you, Aurora communicated to their opponents. Humanity's value lies not in their mastery of quantum physics, but in their ability to see possibilities others cannot. The opposition launched another attack, more powerful than the first, but they still didn't understand what they were facing. The Mars complex's defenses didn't just resist the quantum-severing weapons. They absorbed them, analyzed them, and adapted. See, that's the thing about humans, Sarah said, her voice carrying across both classical and quantum channels. We don't just survive challenges. We learn from them. Every attack you launch makes us stronger. You don't understand the danger, the opposition insisted. Unrestricted quantum evolution could destabilize reality itself. Or, Dr. Patel stepped forward, it could lead to breakthroughs none of us could achieve alone. Look at what we've accomplished in just 1 month. Sarah gestured to the quantum filaments they'd been studying before the attack. We've already found ways to stabilize natural quantum connections. Imagine what we could do together instead of fighting. The opposition paused, their quantum patterns showing the first signs of uncertainty. Around the complex, humans and friendly quantum beings continued their work, demonstrating in real time the potential of cooperation between classical and quantum existence. You would share this knowledge. The opposition's patterns shifted from aggressive to curious. That's another thing about humans, Sarah said. We believe in collaboration, in learning from each other. Yes, we're determined and stubborn, and sometimes chaotic, but we're also driven by a desire to understand, to grow, to help others grow too. Aurora moved forward, their form bridging the space between the opposing forces. I have witnessed their potential firsthand. They saved me not because they understood quantum physics, but because they refused to abandon someone in need. Everything else, their quantum evolution, their technological innovations, stemmed from that fundamental quality. The opposition's attack patterns dissolved as they processed this information. Slowly, their quantum signatures shifted from hostile to neutral. Perhaps we were too quick to judge, they conceded. Your species has indeed demonstrated capabilities we did not anticipate. Then let's start over, Sarah offered, not as opponents, but as partners in understanding the true potential of quantum evolution. There's so much we could learn from each other. The tension in quantum space gradually dissipated as the opposition transitioned from attackers to observers, then to cautious participants in the ongoing research. The Mars complex resumed its work, now enriched by even more perspectives on the quantum nature of reality. Later, as the facility settled into a new normal, Sarah stood with Aurora in the Convergence Hub, watching humans and quantum beings of all factions working together. You never doubted the outcome, Aurora observed. Sarah smiled. Let's just say I had quantum certainty in human determination. Besides, if there's one thing I've learned since finding you in that ancient machine, It's that the most beautiful discoveries come from reaching across boundaries others think can't be crossed. A lesson we all needed to learn, Aurora agreed. And now, thanks to humanity's unique approach, we stand on the brink of a new era of quantum classical cooperation. Just imagine, Sarah said, her enhanced perception taking in the countless possibilities unfolding before them. What we'll discover next. Above Mars, quantum filaments shimmered with new stability, opening pathways to understandings that neither humans nor quantum beings could have achieved alone. The universe, it seemed, had been waiting for precisely this combination: human determination and quantum possibility, classical innovation and quantum wisdom, all working together to unlock reality's deepest secrets. And it had all started with a simple choice to help someone trapped in a machine, proving once again that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in our technology or our evolution, but in our fundamental willingness to reach out and help others, no matter how different they might be.